Good morning, good morning. So I recently uploaded a video, a short. Usually shorts do pretty well. Didn't get any views. I think it's because it was about abortion. Obviously, I'm pro-life if you can't tell. And I think the problem with most people who don't understand what pro-life means is, well, they have no definition. How do you define a human life? That's really what the ultimate question is. What makes someone human, and why can't you kill them? I mean, really, how do you define that? In fact, most atrocities in the world, genocide, murder, they all occur because at some point the person perpetrating it decides that the one they're going to eliminate isn't really human or even alive. If you can justify that into your own mind, you don't feel like a bad person for eliminating them. So how do you define what is human? Now, for me, obviously, it's pretty simple. I define it at conception. I can't justify the difference between a, 1-week fetus or a 9-week or a 25-week. I've been curious to try to figure out why the Democrats and the left seem to think that it's okay at any point. I don't understand their logic. And then they will say, well, it's not okay at this point, but it's okay at this point. It doesn't make any sense to me. How do you justify the difference? And they haven't really come up with a really good answer. The best one I've seen is they will say that, well, it can survive outside the womb. That makes it alive. Well, that's not a good definition. A lot of things can't survive outside the womb. When you birth a baby, it can't survive outside the womb without the mother. It can't. It will die. If you leave it alone, it's going to die. So why would that be a good definition? It just doesn't. The same applies to people in comas. They can't survive on their own without machines keeping them alive. What makes it okay? If I walk in and do something to a person in a coma, I'm going to jail. So if it's not okay then, what makes it okay now? And I think I understand the difference here, but at least the way their mind works. And it's the way most humans think. If it doesn't look like me, well, then it's not me. Therefore, I can do whatever I want to it. And it's a real selfish way to look at the world. Gosh, am I going to quote Pocahontas? In the song, Colors of the Wind, Pocahontas tells John Smith that you think that everything that, doesn't look like you, doesn't have a life, doesn't have a soul, and she explains to him how wrong he is. They follow the bear, and he goes to his family, blah, blah, blah. I haven't seen that movie in forever, so bear with me with my reference. So how do you define it? What's a good definition of human life, or life that you can't kill? How do you define that? Now, vegans, they go all the way in. Nothing that's alive, that's, got a functioning heartbeat and blah, 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 can't kill. I'm not vegan, so that might be the worst definition ever, but that seems to work. So, of course, there are plenty of vegans who are pro-abortion. So how do you justify that? That doesn't make any sense to me. How is a vegan allowed to be pro-abortion? Shouldn't they be pro-life? How can they kill something here? But, oh, no, we can't have chicken eggs because that's bad. I am at a loss for words on that. I cannot make the logical leap on that. I believe that pretty much anything that is alive that would be considered a human being, or at least human in the sense that you shouldn't be able to kill it, is anything that's able to look up at the stars, question its existence. If it can look up and say, do I believe in God or do I not? Then that thing should be counted as a person. Now, then the argument goes, well, a baby can't do that. Well, a baby can eventually. That's the thing. Of course, human life is sacred already. It's defined in the Bible, so if you value human life at all, then therefore that. But if something is alive and is capable at some point in its life of making that choice, then you have no right to impede that choice. Does that make any sense? I'm happy to discuss this in the comments. I just was thinking about it the other day, and I really wanted to talk about it. What do you think? What makes something alive, and why? When is something human? I was watching a documentary a few years ago on the History Channel. Of course, that's loosely defined documentary. I believe it's mostly just aliens now, but they had a Catholic priest on there, and they asked him, what would he do if aliens existed? Um, the Catholic priest said, I don't know, but if he wants to get baptized, I'll baptize him. And I was like, well, I guess that's a good way to look at it. As far as I know, the Bible doesn't say that God did or did not create other life forms in other worlds, so we don't know. I'm not one to put words in God's mouth. I find that to be one of the worst things you can do. You should be very careful if you start saying God says this. If it doesn't say it in the Bible, it's not really a good thing to say. But hey, I'm just some guy on the internet, right? But let me know in the comments, like and subscribe. Have a blessed day.